Authorities are making sure areas previously occupied by Maute fighters in Marawi are safe. During a clearing operation, they obtained security camera footage showing how the terrorists forced their way into a government hospital. George Cahilas reports from Marawi City.
This security camera footage shows Maute fighters attacking government-owned Amay Pakpak Medical Center on May 23rd. One by one, armed men, including this man in yellow shirt, go through the gate. Few minutes later, more armed men appear near the facility. With them, a man who appears to be a policeman in his athletic uniform. He's Senior Inspector Freddy Solar, the Deputy Police Chief of Marawi City. Hands raised, Solar tries to escape. But the video did not capture the scene when the armed men shot Solar. 16 days after the attack, authorities are clearing areas around the hospital.
That's why we're doing this clearing operation para mabalik sa normal yung situation natin dito within this area.
They force open locked doors of houses as they scour houses in search of firearms, contrabands, and even Maute remnants. They mark each cleared house.
When I say okay, may mga positive results naman tayong nakukuha. And just like report sa akin doon kanina, may nakuhang isang barel. And ongoing naman. And wala pa naman tayong nakikitang mga masasabi nating suspect na gagawa ng active shooting.
With security in place, authorities are assessing if the medical center may reopen. A small step to get the city back on its feet. In Marawi, George Cahilas, CNN Philippines.
Amid the crisis in Marawi, the government is looking at the possibility of carrying out another humanitarian ceasefire this weekend to rescue more residents trapped in the war zone. Speaking to Pinky Webb on The Source, government implementing panel for the Bangsamoro chair, Irene Santiago says the MILF is working with the government to rescue more Marawi residents. Santiago adds they're also studying the possibility of opening another peace corridor to give way to more humanitarian assistance.
The most difficult part of that is really the connection between the two parties, to make sure there's a ceasefire. I think in a few days we'll be able to. It depends on, we don't want to lose our emissary. Yeah. So we want to make sure that he's well enough to do this.
So hopefully you're looking at a possible humanitarian pause over the weekend.
Over the weekend, yes, which is what the last time was on a Sunday. But today we're working on the other corridor, which is where we have humanitarian assistance comes through. So we're working on that. We're working even on another corridor also for humanitarian assistance, because aside from rescuing, you also have to make sure that people live who are outside. Yeah? So that's what we're doing now.
Here are some top stories from around the world. Attackers mounted simultaneous gun and suicide bomb assaults on Iran's parliament building and the tomb of the republic's revolutionary founder. State media reports say at least 12 people were killed and dozens more injured in the twin assaults in the capital, Tehran. Iran's intelligence ministry says a third attack was prevented. ISIS issued a swift claim of responsibility but did not offer evidence. South Korea's new government suspended the deployment of a controversial U.S. missile defense system called THAAD. An official tells CNN, while Seoul will not withdraw 2 launchers of the system that are already in action, 4 additional launchers will not be deployed until, quote, a full-blown environmental impact assessment is completed. U.S. and South Korean officials have said the THAAD would be used to counter ballistic missiles from North Korea. And just because he's no longer in the White House doesn't mean they can't still hang out. Former U.S. President Barack Obama had dinner with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau Tuesday. Trudeau tweeted this picture of the two sitting down at a restaurant in Montreal and thanked Obama for visiting his hometown. The meal came after Obama gave a speech at the Montreal Chamber of Commerce. This was Obama's first visit to Canada since leaving office. The war in Marawi displaced thousands of residents, among them children. What's at stake for students at the start of the new school year? And summer isn't over until it's over, at least according to dub smash queen Maine Mendoza. CNN Philippines Newsroom will be right back. Good evening. evening to those of you watching us on Facebook Live. Coming up for you on the next segment of the newsroom, we'll be looking at what's happening, of course, in the crisis in Marawi and the small steps being taken for rehabilitation. We're getting a lot of reaction, of course, always on our stories on Marawi, hearing from you on Facebook Live. Also, Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre is in trouble over some comments he made about the Marawi crisis. Stay with us to find out what that's all about. We also have some business news for you and some news about Sunshorts short films. Stay tuned for that. Now, we want to say hi to those of you who have been greeting us on Facebook Live. Our ever-loyal Facebook Live friend Gilbert Las Piñas Estanislao joins us from Bahrain. Lani Grace of Visperas says, good evening. And we also have, watching from Hong Kong, Bala Kabusao. And also a lot of viewers from the United States of America, like Yvonne Newman. And also Pretty G. Lapis says she's watching from watching in Riyadh. So thank you for letting us know where you're watching from, and do let us know what you think of the stories, or perhaps which ones really mean most to you wherever in the world you are watching us from. Please stay with us until the end of the show. You're back in the newsroom on CNN Philippines. There's still no certainty when the war in Marawi City will end, even as the city suffers from destruction. But in this report, our senior correspondent Ina Andolong tells us small steps toward rehabilitation could begin soon.
It's a common sight in war-torn cities in the Middle East, once held by terrorist groups. But this time, it's a scene out of Marawi. What used to be a school building is now an abandoned structure peppered with bullet holes. Its walls collapse. As the military presses on against the terrorists, there is hope the situation could soon go back to normal.
We are working closely with local government that in cleared areas, they can come in to start the slow process of rehabilitation reconstruction.
How soon, the military is not setting a timetable as safety remains a concern. AFP spokesman Restituto Padilla could only say the process is going to be slow.
Definitely, priorities for reconstruction and rehabilitation will go to the basic services. So that means to say sanitation and water and health.
As the fighting rages in the city center, no one could tell the extent of destruction at this point. But this early, officials say private institutions can help in rehabilitation efforts.
6 big business organizations have already expressed an interest, even in the repair of the school buildings, that is, if these are damaged, financial assistance.
A number of private organizations are currently working together in providing relief supplies for displaced people, from food, potable water, hygiene kits, and sleepers. Relief operations are happening in Iligan and border towns to Marawi like Pantar and Sagyaran. They hope to move in closer to ground zero to see where else they can be of service.
We have a very wide network of companies also involved heavily in development, construction, etc. So definitely we will be asking help from these kapatids to come in.
Help offered should be consolidated to avoid redundancy of projects. Livelihood programs are also on the way. All these aimed at restoring from the ruins, perhaps even more. Ina Andolong, CNN Philippines.
President Duterte visits another military camp. This time, he addressed the 1st Mechanized Infantry Brigade in Camp Leono in Tacurong City, Sultan Kudarat. This is part of Mr. Duterte's efforts to boost troop morale in the fight against terrorism. He assured soldiers the Filipino people are with them. To show he is one with them, the president gave out his business card and told them to call him if they need anything. Meanwhile, the president tells the New People's Army that if they want to join the government side, he'll take them in as soldiers. Mr. Duterte points out he's a president for peace and he gets hurt every time a Filipino is killed. Here's the president in his own words.
Kaya sabi nila na mag-usap, yung nanay ni Maute, sabi ko, no, I will not talk anymore kasi marami na ang sundalo ko namatay. Marami na ang pulis ko namatay. Huwag mo akong bulahin dyan, usap-usap na yan. Not anymore. Pagkatapos dyan, mag-usap tayo.
President Duterte reiterates he can flatten Marawi within 24 hours or in 2 days, but there are rules that must be followed and innocent lives that must be saved. Aside from the loss of lives and massive destruction, another emerging concern in the now 2-week-long Marawi crisis is the future of its children. The crisis forced schools to remain closed, putting the education of thousands of school children on hold. Here's our senior correspondent David Santos with that story.
While most children of their age are now in schools, these Marawi kids play in the hallway of this government building, which was converted into an evacuation camp. We meet Aslima, 13. Wearing her school shirt over her pink jacket and hijab, Aslima is looking forward to the new school year. But now, she isn't sure if there's a school she can return to.
Kung matapos ito na saan kami mag-aral, wala na.
The Marawi fighting shuts down almost 70 public elementary and secondary schools in the city. That's affecting more than 21,000 students, almost a third of them in high school. Some enrolled in adjacent towns.
So how are you today? I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
At the Pantar Elementary School, about 15 minutes away from Marawi, the annual enrollment of about 800 students has risen by half. As in most public schools, the number is now way beyond the school's capacity. But an official says there's no way they can decline more students, not those from Marawi.
It is very important to us. Why? Because most of the pupils, yung mga pupils na FDR out of school youth, pwede sila ma-recruit ng ganyan, mga Maute or mga ISIS or whatever nga mga terrorist dyan.
These are some of the artworks Marawi children made during a group therapy session. They clearly bear the scars of traumatic experience. People fleeing, military planes dropping bombs, houses in flames, even the ISIS flag. Some had messages calling for an end to the conflict.
Gusto kong tigil ng mga gulo kasi may nasira silang mga area-area ng walang kinalaman sa kanilang gulo.
10-year-old Ayman's depiction of the crisis as two people running for their lives. It's a pretty detailed sketch, quite impressive for his age. He dreams of becoming an engineer, he says. Amid the horrible destruction of Marawi, Ayman tells me of his dreams to someday help rebuild his city.
Yung malalaking bahay.
Okay. Tapos ano pa? Ano pang gusto mong gawin?
Yung mga eskwelahan.
Eskwelahan. Ano pa? Meron pa?
Lahat ng mga bahay.
In Marawi City, David Santos, CNN Philippines.
It's heartbreaking seeing that. Well, there's no word yet when the city's public schools will reopen. Everything still relies on how soon the government can put an end to this crisis. Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre is in hot water over his statements on the crisis in Marawi. Earlier today, Aguirre tagged minority senators Bam Aquino and Antonio Trillanes in the Marawi crisis. He said terrorism could be part of a destabilization plot. The Justice Secretary said the senators, along with Magdalo Representative Gary Alejano and former presidential political advisor Ronald Llamas, met with the Alonto and Lucman clans in Marawi weeks before the crisis broke out. He said he will push for a probe on the connection of the lawmakers' meeting to the Marawi attack.
Hindi ko malaman why after they went there, nagkagulo na after about 2 weeks. I'm going to talk with my asset, with the informer, who was there at the meeting.
Aguirre showed to the media a photo of the supposed meeting in Marawi, but did not give out a copy. Our correspondent AC Nichols confirms this was the photo Aguirre showed the reporters. Turns out this was a photo posted by Zamboanga del Sur Vice Governor Ace Ceriles in September 2015. Hours later, Aguirre retracted his statement saying, quote, "I was unfortunately misquoted by some reporters as having said so." He clarified he had no intention to implicate the Alonto and Lucman families in the Marawi crisis. The manufacturing sector has been one of the country's growth drivers. Market Watcher's IHS Market says the sector has been expanding. This was enough to convince a major foreign investor to put up a $50 million factory here. Claire Yao takes us there.
For British technology company Dyson, home is now in the heart of Calamba, Laguna. A 10,000 square meter advanced manufacturing facility just inaugurated last year but already poised for expansion in 2017 and 2018. The factory floor is impressive. These machines can produce one digital motor for every 2.6 seconds. In a year, this can produce 6 million machines, 20% of Dyson's entire global output. But robots can work anywhere. Dyson chose the Philippines for its people.
We looked at lots of different options, and one of the reasons we chose the Philippines was because we think, first and foremost, we can get talent. So we're an engineering company and we felt we could get good engineering talent.
The technology they produce here at Dyson's facility is highly advanced. This little thing, for example, is a digital motor. It can make 110,000 rotations per minute. Your average car will make just 6,000. And yet, it just weighs 45 grams and is just as wide as a 1 peso coin.
The digital motor is the core of all of Dyson's products. The smaller V9 that keeps its hairdryer ultra-light, and the larger V6 to power its cord-free vacuum cleaner. This year, it will expand its production line, building V10 motors for a product Dyson is still keeping secret. But one thing is for sure, it will need more Filipino operators, technicians, and engineers to work the factory floor. Dyson plans to grow its workforce here from 320 to 500 people and invest an additional $20 million in the country.
In this facility alone, we've invested well over $50 million, so quite a big investment for the company. And again, as I say, we will continue to invest. We expect to make further investments before the end of this year, and we'll be making future investments through the whole of 2018.
Dyson says demand for their products is rising around the world. The Philippines is even one of its best performing stores in Asia. As Dyson embarks on a $3.2 billion global expansion plan to meet that demand, this manufacturing facility in Calamba, Laguna is ready to get to work. Claire Yao, CNN Philippines.
Insurance company Sun Life is putting the spotlight on its clients in its latest ad campaign. The company launches a collection of 3 digital short films called Sun Shorts. All films are inspired by stories of their customers who achieved financial freedom. Sun Life Chief Marketing Officer Mylene Lopa says the campaign targets millennials, parents raising their children, and middle-aged couples. Lopa tells CNN Philippines why the life insurer chose to have the short films instead of the traditional TV commercials for its new campaign.
These days, kasi a digital platform has become very popular. It's become very effective in conveying messages to the public because most people are there. So I guess it's a very convenient medium for people to use. So we also want to offer our stories there. And the short film as a platform is also effective because it allows us to tell a story. So as opposed to a 30-second TV commercial, it allows us to really tell a story and really take time to inspire the people.
The 3 films are now available online at www.sunshorts2.com. Actress and TV host Ann Curtis is taking her next project seriously, and she's breaking a sweat for it. This is CNN Philippines Newsroom. Good evening once again to those of you joining us on Facebook Live. Coming up for you in the final segment of the newsroom, find out what people are saying about the BPI glitch. As we talked about earlier, there were some accounts that, of course, were affected by this internal problem. Also, we'll be talking about actress Maine Mendoza and what she has to say about summer that apparently is still here. Now, we want to say hi to those of you who are greeting us. Jester Katakutan Timbas is watching from Canada and says, I love CNN. Well, thank you for watching us and for your support. From Singapore, Liza Ana Elorta Arapok, and also watching from Japan, Wilvinek DJ. And we also have Poy Balt from New Zealand. Thank you for all the greetings on CNN. Wilma Verona Abajuela says, CNN is love. Also watching from Hong Kong, Raimi Blas Espanola. And from LA, Paul De Leon is also joining us from there. And Virginia Wong says hello. She's watching from Malaysia. Do stay with us until the end of the show. And hello also to Jam Katapusan, our former colleague. Thanks for watching, everybody. Welcome back. The technical glitch at the Bank of the Philippine Islands keeps everyone talking online. Our Nicolette Henson-Hizon reads some of the reactions on social media.
That's right. We are seeing a barrage of complaints online following the technical glitch that affected BPI customers nationwide. On Facebook, Mark Ramirez says he woke up this morning with a negative balance and tells the bank it's, quote, very unacceptable. Another one complains of an unauthorized ATM withdrawal worth 10,900 pesos. This Twitter user claims some BPI clients got additional 100,000 pesos in their accounts. One netizen says the incident is a reminder that no one should put all their eggs in one basket and that he plans to get another account today. This user, meanwhile, plans to withdraw all his money from the bank. Some poke fun at the technical glitch, posting a meme of a Star Cinema film with a famous line that goes, quote, I deserve an explanation. I deserve an acceptable reason. With all the banking concerns, this netizen writes, problema mo nga love life mo, sumabay pa ang bank account mo. Stay in the loop with this story by visiting our website at cnnphilippines.com and follow us on social media at CNN Philippines. I'm Nicolette Henson-Hizon.
Entertainment news now. Actress and TV host Ann Curtis is flexing some muscle for her upcoming project. Curtis shared videos on Instagram as she breaks a sweat with her boxing trainer. On her post, the actress even asked Filipino-American mixed martial arts Brandon Vera for a sparring session. Vera is her co-star in the still untitled movie directed by Eric Mati. In the second video, the It's Showtime co-host is seen working on her kicks in an outdoor venue, telling her fans, quote, ibang level of pawis ang dala niya, guys, unquote. Dub smash queen Maine Mendoza is making heads turn in Maldives. On Instagram, she shares photographs of her post-summer vacation in the tropical paradise that she calls her dream destination. In some pictures, the TV host bears some skin. This one shows off her abs as she wears a two-piece bikini. It comes with a caption, tropical state of mind. The former Destined to Be Yours star sizzles even more in two other pictures as she hit the white sand beaches of Maldives. And that's the newsroom for you this evening. I'm Mitzi Borromeo. Thank you for watching. Good night.